Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's King John here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Granblue Fantasy versus one of my favorite fighting games out right now, because we got some great news about the game right now. We're getting a new character in Vera, and the game has gone on sale, baby! Yeah, I know, we're kind of down bad right now, Granblue in shambles. But in all seriousness, there's a sale going on right now at the time of this recording. I'm sorry if you're watching this like a year or 6 months in the future. You were kind of too late. You missed the solar eclipse. You got till the 16th of August to get the game on the discounted price. So with this news, I wanted to do my part to advertise, to get you the game, to give you the good, to give you the bad, to know what to expect in Granblue. And overall, I'm really just trying to convince you to buy Granblue Fantasy Versus for the personal computer. Before we get into that, guys, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. We're on that 500 subscriber grind. Also, if you want to catch me live over at Twitch, that'll be twitch.tv/KingJohn_TTV. Anyways, let's get started. So the way I'm going to format this video, I'm going to have pros and I'm going to have cons, and then I'm going to have you my opinion. I'm going to lay everything out for you so you can decide for yourself if you want to get the game on the discounted price right now. So first, let's start with the pros about the game. So starting off with the pros, the first thing we're going to talk about is the core gameplay of Granblue Fantasy Verse. So from an outside point of view, or looking at the game from afar, it really looks like a very simple and dumbed down fighting game. And for some people, that actually may be a good thing, because they're newbies, they don't really know how to play fighting games, so they want to start with something simple. And that is completely fine. Actually, playing Granblue as one of your first fighting games is amazing. It teaches you many basics, it teaches you fundamentals, it helps build fundamentals, I mean. So if you're trying to learn the basics of fighting games and build fundamentals, Granblue is a great game to start off on. But a lot of people see that the game has a lot of auto combos and very simple combos, so they see that it's not very deep, but it's actually completely the opposite. At a high level, Granblue is actually one of the harder games to compete in. It requires very good fundamentals, it requires good footsies, and good understanding of the game mechanics. So the game in a nutshell is basically just every character has 4 special moves that are tied to a cooldown. There isn't a EX bar in this game as there were in other games like Street Fighter or maybe even Guilty Gear. There isn't a bar meter to enhance moves similar to, let's say, Street Fighter. The only bar that is available in the game is for you to use your super moves, but every special move is tied to a cooldown that has an EX, and if you use that EX, the cooldown takes longer. Every character has a unique attack, every character has an auto combo, and every character has a regular super and a super scab on art that can only be activated when you're under 30% health and have 100 bar. That's the gameplay in a nutshell, but at a higher level, the gameplay is so much more than that. It's good neutral, good fundamentals wins the game. It has a super fun game to play. It rewards solid play, it rewards good play. So overall, there isn't crazy flashy combos like there would be in Guilty Gear or something like that, but the gameplay of Granblue still hits on all cylinders. Now moving on, let's talk about RPG mode, the single player content. Now RPG mode is essentially the story mode of the game. It's basically a beat 'em up, but I know that a lot of people out there play fighting games for their single players, their arcade modes, the story modes, whatever. And RPG mode, I think, satisfies that. RPG mode in a nutshell is basically the story mode of the game. You go from island to island, unlocking characters, unlocking weapons, getting more weapons for your grid, basically trying to simulate the Granblue mobile game, and that's a whole nother can of worms. But if you're into beat 'em ups, and if you're into loot collecting and upgrading characters and trying to beat really hard bosses, then you can sink a lot of time into RPG mode. There's a lot of depth in the grid, just how there is in the regular Granblue mode. There's gear to collect, weapons to unlock for your characters. You can actually switch your weapons. You can actually switch weapon skins that you unlock in RPG mode for your characters in versus mode or online, so your weapon looks different. It doesn't affect the weapon itself in any way, but it affects the way it looks. So if you're a single player fan, you can definitely sink tons and tons of time into RPG mode. Another thing I love about Granblue is hands down the graphics and its characters. So at the launch of Granblue, the roster was about 11 characters, which is okay size for a first time fighting game. But the thing that made the roster great is the character diverse. There's all types of characters. There's the main Shoto, the main character, Gran. There's big wrestlers like La Diva. There's comical guys like Lil Wayne. There's these little dwarf girls that are called Harvins like Charlotta. Overall, tons of character diversity. The whole Granblue spectrum of characters is pretty represented in the base roster. But obviously, you have the DLC character that expands the roster even more, and the characters are just greatly designed. The graphics are beautiful, the intros are beautiful, everything about the game just looks amazing. Me playing this game and loving its characters is what got me to play the Granblue mobile app. I mean, let's be honest, this whole game was like an ad for the Granblue mobile app, so it did its job. But if you're looking for cool, interesting characters that are greatly designed, lovable characters with great personalities, it's just one of the best starting rosters when it comes to character diversity, and I love all the characters in the game. Obviously, if you want to expand your roster, you can buy the DLC, but that's completely optional. That's completely up to you. I feel like the starter 11, and there's actually a 12 character that you can unlock by beating RPG mode. That's another incentive to play RPG mode. There's a secret 12 character you can unlock for free if you just simply finish RPG. So I feel that the base 12 are actually pretty good. All of them are great, beautifully designed, beautifully animated. It's just overall eye candy. So now that we talked about some of the cons about the game, I could go on forever, but I want to keep this video watchable and consumable. So I feel it's time to move on to the cons of the game. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I want to be completely as honest and transparent to you guys as possible. I don't want to feel like I bullshitted you. I don't want to feel like I fed you guys a bunch of lies just to get you guys to buy the game. So that's not what I'm going to do. So let's start off with the first con that I have for the game. Is obviously, I'm sure you heard of it, and that's the online netcode. So Granblue, just like many other past Arc System games before Guilty Gear Strive, uses delay-based netcode. In layman's terms, delay-based netcode is garbage. It basically inputs more delay the more distance there is between you and your opponent. So essentially, you can only play with people that are nearby to have playable connections, at least in your side of the coast in the United States. So East Coast players can only play with East Coast players, and West Coast players can only really play with West Coast players. But since this is the PC version we're talking about, there is some East to West Coast connections that are actually pretty solid. So it's not completely restricted. Now EU and things like that, I'm not sure because I don't live there, but I'm sure that there is something similar with them too. Now the netcode of this game is honestly what really hurt it in the beginning phases due to the pandemic. Everybody was forced online, and with the online being really bad, it really put a spotlight on how bad delay-based netcode is. It really turned a lot of people off. After the game itself being so good, the netcode is just so bad. It's not like it's unplayable. It's better than things like Smash and things like that, but it's still not great. It's definitely playable. If you find people that are in nearby states or in the East Coast or whatever coast or whatever place you live in, honestly, you won't even notice it. The connection is going to be pretty solid. Unless you're on Wi-Fi, obviously, please play wired. Please play on LAN. But that's probably the biggest glaring bad thing you can say about Granblue, is that its netcode is terrible. Delay-based netcode is not the way, but with Guilty Gear Strive and its success, I'm pretty sure we're never going to see another delay-based netcode game coming up from Arc System Works ever again. So I guess you can take that as a good side to all of this. Now moving on to the next con, we're going to have its overall price. Now, as if you've been watching the video all the way through, I'm sure you heard me at first saying that, oh my god, we have a sale for the game. Reason being is because the game hasn't gone on sale in nearly 2 years. Now you see games like Dragon Ball, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat going on sale constantly, especially older fighting games. You can get BBCF for like $5 to $10 sometimes. A lot of fighting games go on sale pretty often, but Granblue never goes on sale. It's kind of a meme at this point. Now, the main reason why this game never goes on sale is because it has gacha codes attached to the game that you can redeem to get rewards in the mobile game, which are pretty valuable, I'm not gonna lie. But even then, the PC version of the game doesn't have any gacha codes attached to it at all, and it never goes on sale either. And that's just the start of it. You have to pay full price for a nearly 2-year-old fighting game with just its base roster of 12 characters, the 12th one being unlockable through story mode. And then on top of that, you have to buy 2 seasons worth of DLC with more characters incoming. As I said earlier, Vera is coming, and there's another character confirmed after that. You have to play for season 1 and season 2 of DLC if you want to get those characters. And there's stages you can buy. And on top of all this, they have battle passes in this game, which you can buy to unlock more cosmetics. Now obviously the stages and the battle pass, the colors and the weapon skin, that's all purely cosmetic things. That's completely avoidable. But having to buy 2 seasons worth of DLC for full price and the game never going on sale is a pretty hard bargain to sell to people. So that's why we were also excited that the game finally goes on sale, because then we can finally tell people, yo, buy the game now, because it's probably not going to go on sale again, at least for a long time. So overall, the price of Granblue, as honestly I have to admit, is pretty unacceptable. They expect you to pay full price plus 2 seasons worth of DLC, plus stages, plus a battle pass. It's really ridiculous. The game going on sale now is kind of a big deal. And honestly, that's pretty much about all the big cons that I have personally, at least. There could be other people that have different gripes with the game, but that's it for me personally. So let's recap really quickly. So the pros are great gameplay, RPG mode, so a lot of single player content, and finally the character designs, character diversity, and overall graphics of the game. So in the content, we have bad netcode and very expensive. Overall, my personal opinion of the game, I played it for 2 years competitively at a high level. I personally really love the game. I feel like the game is kind of a little bit of a misunderstood reputation. Everybody says it's very simple and very dumbed down, and that is true in some cases. It is very, very simple. There isn't a lot of crazy things you can do, and it is relatively a very simple fighting game. But at a high level, it's one of the better fighting games out there. It awards good play, It rewards solid play, very fundamental and neutral base, footsies base. If you're into that, you'll love this game. I really do. I love all its characters. I love the gameplay. I love the graphics. So should you play Granblue in 2021? That is completely up to you. I just laid out everything for you and you can do the rest. It's on sale right now until August 16th at the time of recording this video. Sorry if you're in the future. And yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Really helps me out. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.